Hey guys, Sandy here, and welcome back to Follow a Sketch February. Today I am scrapbooking this photo of me and some crafty friends when we went to a retreat in Chicago in November. I'm going to be using this sketch right here, and I've already pulled out some of the elements that I'm going to be using for it. Some of the other things we'll figure out as we go, so let's see what I can do. Had a lot of fun creating this layout. I just really did. I'm not exactly sure why. It's not the most technique-driven layout. It doesn't even have Shining, Shimmering, Splendid on it, but I just really liked doing it. Now this is a kind of plasticky piece from Bella Boulevard, and I am pretty much following that sketch to the T. Well, almost. Right now, at least I am. And I am using this pre-made mixed media background from Vicky Booten, and I'm just cutting it out with scissors. It's not a perfect circle shape, and I'm okay with that. Now, it is a little bit large for what I want it to do, so I do cut out a little bit more of this mixed media background. I could have saved the circle and did something on a layout with it, but no. That kind of thing stresses me out, and I try not to keep the things in my room that stress me out. So, like, keeping every single little scrap because I might be able to punch a mini heart out of it one day drives me insane. Like, I just feel so much better if I get that stuff out of the room and I only save large scraps that I know I'm going to use. And that's okay. When I first started scrapbooking, I saved everything, and now I'm just like, nope, not going to use it. It needs to go. It needs to be donated. It needs to go in a giveaway. It needs to be recycled. It needs to go in the trash. Like, it just has to happen. Interestingly enough, I just threw some stamps in the trash, and it broke my heart. Like, my heart is seriously aching over the fact that I threw these stamps in the trash. But I don't know why, because I haven't been able to use the stamps in quite a few years because they have disintegrated so badly. They were some retro stamps from My Sentiments Exactly, and I loved the font on those stamps. Like, it's my favorite font ever. Just in fonts in general, not necessarily to scrapbook with, but I just love that font. And they were disintegrating and they couldn't be used, and I still had them in my stash, and they were just taking up room because I liked them, but I can't use them. So I threw them away. I threw them away yesterday, and it was definitely a rough situation for me. So there it is. Now this photo is just a great photo. The women in this photo are amazing, fabulous women. Just had a great time with them. They are just my people. Just my people. Now, there are some women that are my people that are not in this photo, and definitely miss them when we went to Chicago. But this we had a great time. Like, we just embrace who each other is and just have a good time, and more importantly, they let me touch their stuff. And if you know me, you know that I am a toucher. I like to touch the supplies. I like looking, I like touching. I'm a very tactile person, and they just let me touch their stuff, and that makes me ridiculously happy. Like, they understand the need to touch the stuff. I just want to touch all the things. So there is that. Now I am creating the blocks of paper down here, and I'm using this gold and white diagonal stripe because everybody loves a diagonal stripe. And I'm also using this Amy Tangerine striped paper. Don't know what collection it came from, no idea. And then I used a really old people, die cuts with a view, glittery 4x6 cardstock stack thing that I matted the photo on. So I guess there is a little Shining, Shimmering, Splendid in there. I did get some glitter in there. And the pre-made gold is there too, so that counts, I guess. So I add in a doily for no other reason than I believe there is a secondary circle in the sketch, and I felt like I need it to kind of match the sketch this time. It is not my favorite doily. My favorite doily is the large doily. Like that one just makes my heart go pitter patter. So I am pulling out some ephemera pieces, and I couldn't tell you which collection these are from whatsoever. So normally what I do with my ephemera is I will keep it in its own little package for a little while when I first get it usually. And then it goes into these little plastic cases, and it goes into these plastic cases by feeling. And I know that that might seem really weird because there isn't a concrete way that I like divvy them out. But there's definitely a feeling to them. So let me see if I can describe it a little bit. So like my October afternoon and older jelly bean soup go together because they've got that creamy, vintagey feeling to them. Does that make sense? So they are in a thing together. I also have florals that are just in their own thing because when I think of what I want for ephemera or die cuts, I'm like, oh, I want some flowers. I don't think, oh, I want Paige Evans flowers, or oh, I want Chamel flowers. No, I just think I want flowers, and I like to like mix and match them. So that goes there because flowers go together in my head. And then I have kind of like travel-y feeling. So I guess there is kind of themes, but there's also feelings. I don't know, but some of my travel stuff, some of the stuff in the travel thing are not really travel related. They just feel like they're travel. I don't know, guys. It's kind of a mess in there, but it makes sense in my head. So when I open up my drawer to pull them out, I know like what I'm looking for and what I'm finding. So I'm building up some clusters here. I'm just bringing in these colors that I have introduced with the striped paper down here. Because you know the base colors are yellow and this pink and red and black. So I'm just making sure that I am bringing in some of the fun colors, and I'm just going through my little bits here and trying to figure out what other pieces I want to use on this layout and what pieces will like work and what pieces won't work. So I have a lot more shining, shimmering, splendid on this layout than I remember. Okay, so we have some glittered ephemera pieces as well. And like this one is a geotag, and it was a pink glittery geotag. So that didn't feel travel-y to me. That felt like whatever that box feels like. I don't know. I can't describe it. So like it's not, everything isn't, like there aren't hard, fast rules. There are some times when I am looking through my ephemera and I'm going through things. I'm like, why is this in here? And I'll move it. But scrapbooking is a very feeling hobby for me. It's all about how I feel at the time. Like, do I feel like getting messy? Do I feel like doing more is more? Do I feel like, digging out the die cut machine? Do I feel like this? So it's very, scrapbooking is a very emotional hobby for me, not just through the photos, but through the products as well. And that might seem a little bit much and a little bit over the top, but it is what it is. So there you go. Now I am bringing in these little pops of black and white because I have so much black in the background and there isn't a whole lot going on in the foreground. It's mostly color. I know that one diagonal stripe paper kind of looks black and white, but I promise you it isn't. It is gold and white. It's just the way my camera is picking it up. And then I struggled with this a little bit, trying to figure out the perfect placement of the word today and where it was going to overlap the banner, because I didn't want a huge gap of color between today and the banner, because that is some trapped space. I'm okay with a little trapped space, but like a lot of trapped space doesn't work for me. So I moved the geotag decided to nestle it in between the two ascenders of the T and the D. And I'm just trying to figure out where to bring in these other little pops of black, like this little black heart. And then I'm toying with the idea of bringing in some more gold, but I'm like, do I like this here? I kind of like it there, but I kind of don't. So when something's like that, when I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Is it all right? I'm like, nope, move on. Find something cool and move on. So I am going to add just a tiny bit of journaling. After I add some enamel in wood dots. So these are wood dots, and they are definitely thicker than regular enamel dots. I mean, they would have to be because they're wood. So I'm just sprinkling these about the page in a couple different areas, and that way I can use it to add in more color. So I have these black sparkly, look, more sparkle, guys. I added a lot of shiny, shimmering, splendid on this page, and I didn't even realize it. Maybe that's why I like it so much, because there is a lot of glitter on here, even if it's not in paste form. So I add in those, and then I figure I've got two clusters right now of 3, and then I'm adding in a third color dot. And now I have 3-piece clusters of 3. Does that make sense? And I like it. I really like mixing enamel dot colors and enamel dot sizes. Like it just kind of makes me happy. So I'm feeling good about this layout. I am feeling like I need to add more adhesive. That is what I do when I'm thinking, guys. I add like more adhesive while I'm thinking about the layout and trying to figure out if I need to add anything or change anything before I call it good. So I grab a pen, I just write down the names of the people, and more adhesive. Whoa, more adhesive. So I just write down the names of the people in the photo. I also write down that we are in Chicago and the date. Now, I am not putting a lot of journaling on this page because I have multiple photos from this event that we went to in Chicago, so I don't feel like I need to wax poetic on every single layout. And that is going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for following along with Follow a Sketch February. We have almost reached the end of the month, and there has been at least one video every day, so I hope you guys have been enjoying that immensely. I have been having so much fun creating and sharing with you.